Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. You know, we make sure we bring you the best people that are absolutely on the planet. This next guy really doesn't even need an introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Carlos King is on the podcast today. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Listen, I'm so excited to get you on this show because I know our audience, they're like, oh, he's here. But I know there's somebody that's always under a rock slipping. And also, I feel like you're one of those guests that I want to let them talk their own shit. Cause like you've been crushing it in the game. Who is Carlos King?
Oh, that's the first question?
Yeah. Who's Carlos King?
So look, I'm a man who was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I'm a Libra zodiac. There we go. Libra season is right now. But no, I am the CEO and executive producer of Kingdom Reign Entertainment, which is a company that I created. And we have shows on the air from Love and Marriage Huntersville for Oprah Winfrey Network. BET Presents the Encore on BET. We have a new show with Lifetime that features K. Michelle called My Killer Body with K. Michelle that was announced recently. That premieres January of 2022.
Wow.
And a host of a bunch of stuff too. And a lot of people know me as the former executive producer of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
And you did like the Real Housewives of Atlanta for like 9 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Crushed it. Listen, I like this so much, right? But it's always important for the audience to kind of like go back into like, who was like that Detroit native, the young kid, Carlos, growing up? Like, how was that for you?
For me, I'm the middle child of 10 siblings. So I'm number 5. So growing up in a big household, 12 people, my parents included, I had my imagination. I was this boy that always had these dreams and these aspirations, and I knew that my life was going to be big. I never knew how, but I knew that my life was going to be somewhat involved in the entertainment industry, and I knew that was going to be bigger than my 12-year-old imagination could hold. So from there, I just started to, be on the grind. Seriously, I would study talk shows, I would study television, so that I was always prepared to when I graduated high school and started interning at various places and left Detroit eventually at 22. My entire existence is all about preparation.
Wow. Let's talk about preparation, right? Because I think so many people, like if you're listening to this show right now, like you get moments in life where you aren't prepared for. Obviously, Carlos has been preparing himself in different ways. Like what would be your tips for someone right now who's struggling to prepare for the life that they deserve and that they want?
Listen, I'm a firm believer that God rules all. So I'm a praying man. I'm a faithful man. So I know that my life is a blessing because of him. And because he put this dream in my heart, and the talent that I have is because of the dream he put in my heart, I worked hard to be able to sustain the calling that he placed on my life. So anybody who's struggling or has a struggle, and listen, I'm Carlos King, and I still go through moments of despair and struggling, but my faith constantly keeps me focused and keeps me moving. So I know that may sound very simple, but it is true. I think a lot of people truly don't understand that the moment you tap into God or whoever you call God, your spirituality, then you can achieve everything that your heart desires.
Man, that's so deep. And I think like for me listening to you, I think about the moments where like God spoke to me in my life. Like, okay, now Shawn, you can do this. You can make that leap. You can leave that job. You can connect with people like Carlos. I think it's important that you're mentioning that, and you're a man of faith and putting that out there, because so many people hide it, right? They get the success, they never say anything about it, they never talk about where it came from. So it's great to see that. And I think one of the gifts God gave you, and I truly believe this, is he's gave you the ability to like recognize, like almost like a scientist to the extent, recognize what works, what doesn't work, and how to put that together. Like where does that come from?
Seriously, it comes from this drive that I have, and there's always to me beauty in humble beginnings and beauty in the struggle because I again am one of 10 siblings.
Hmm.
We didn't grow up with everything that we wanted, but we had everything that we needed. So because I wanted a certain lifestyle for myself, I knew that the only way I was going to attain that was by working hard. So my goals in life was to fulfill the mission that I felt in my spirit and to also just work hard to be able to have the life that I felt that I deserved. And I think for people who, have something inside of them and they don't know how to articulate it, you have to continuously follow it. And my preparation, again, just came from studying the craft of what I'm doing. I would go home from school and I would watch like Oprah Winfrey show and I would study how she was and I would watch these TV shows and I was a student. And I think a lot of people don't understand that whatever profession you have in life, you have to be a student. You have to study the craft so that when you're placed in these positions, you at least have the education. And I don't mean the institutionalized version of the education like a school, self-taught. We have YouTube and Google and everything now. I don't have none of that. None of it. So you got to study for your craft.
Man, listen, I think let's keep it on this path of school, right? Like studying for your craft. You're going home, you're watching Oprah, you're studying all these different things. I think often people, they lack the value of what an internship and all these things can teach you. I know one of those things that you were at an early age was the View. Like, so what was that experience like for you?
It was truly one of the best experiences of my life. So first of all, I moved to New York when I was 22, and that was in 2002. Um, and I was like, all right, I'm here. Let me figure this out. I gotta figure out how to place myself in the rooms of the industry.
Hmm.
So long story short, fast forward a year later, I learned that the View was looking for interns. So I applied. And again, it's so funny because back in 2002, emails wasn't really popping like that, right? Or
Not at
like you
all.
submit online. So I had to mail
Oh,
in
that's
a
crazy.
cover, dude, mail, postage stamp, all that.
Oh, that's
Mail
crazy.
a cover letter and my resume and fill out the application. So I did that. I
Wow.
got a call within 2 weeks to meet with the internship coordinator. Went to the internship. She said to me, more than 600 people applied for this internship.
What?
And the reason why I selected you is because you had a Booker T. Washington quote on your cover letter. And
Mm.
I thought that was special. And that's what made me call you into my office because I had to meet you. So long story short, after she met with me, I got the job.
Wow.
And I was one of four other interns. So five interns beat out like 680.
That is insane. I mean, when you think about something like that, do you remember what that quote was? Do you remember what the quote was?
It was, yes, it was. I'm gonna butcher it,
Okay.
but of course, if I tell you the top lines, y'all can Google it and figure it out. So it was something about success not being measured by one's profession, but success being measured by the obstacles you overcome.
Mm. Let's talk about obstacles, right? I mean, I think it's important to humanize that. Yes, you've had a lot of success, but I'm pretty sure like there's some ideas, there's some shows that you thought should have came out 7 years ago that are just now coming to life. Like when you are faced like with an obstacle, or what was an obstacle for you in those early stages that you want to talk about that can uplift the audience right now listening to you, and how did you go through that?
Yeah, listen, you hear stories about people being homeless or sleeping in their cars, like Tyler Perry. to get to where he's at. That wasn't my struggle, but everyone's struggle is different. So for me, I did leave Detroit at 22 years old with $500 in my pocket,
Wow.
and that money was supposed to be used to pay next month's rent.
Oh my goodness.
So I struggled to make sure that, look, I gotta, of course, feed myself. I gotta, it's New York. I gotta catch the subway.
New
So
York.
I found ways to make that $500 work. I got a job at the Gap within 7 days
Okay.
of being in New York. My whole life story is through the grace of God. So all of that occurred, and then I struggled. I wasn't somebody who moved to New York and was eating at the restaurants. I used to eat off the dollar menu at McDonald's and Wendy's,
Yeah.
and I used to, listen, work. I had 2 jobs plus an internship. I worked at, I was an intern. When I was interning at the View, I had a job at the Gap, and I had to work as a after school teacher at this middle school in Brooklyn.
Wow.
So I had to do all that just to maintain. So that's the struggles I had to endure early on. And then, of course, later in life, listen, my profession is all about pitching shows to get sold. So, unfortunately, you hear more no's than yes. And it is a struggle when you spend so much time and money into a project that doesn't see the light of day. Like, that's an unfortunate part of my business. But no matter where you are in life, that's just, you still have different types of struggles. But I'm able to at least relate to it from these different scales, so that when people who are listening and watching, they can understand the different levels of struggles that I had to endure.
That's dope. I think also, you said a word there I think people take for granted, that's time. Right. And timing. When you look at, your career, your success, the networks, the multiple shows, the new shows that are coming, like how important is it for our listeners right now and to recognize that timing is a key factor to success?
Listen, timing and being patient. And my growth was never succeeded on my timetable. Never. I wanted to be where I'm at when I was in my 20s. I was like, oh wait, I was an intern at BET at 25 years old.
Wow.
So you want to talk about timing?
That's crazy.
A lot of people this day and age, they ain't interning for free at 25 years old. They want to be the CEO, the CCO, the COO, and make 6 figures by the time they're 25. But I always knew that, seriously, age was just a number. So for me, I wanted to follow the timeline in which God put set for my life. And when I look back on my life, I know that I wasn't ready during that time, or during those times. I felt like, yo, I should be this and I should be that. I seriously look back on it and be like, you weren't ready. So God had to build character within me, because the quicker you get everything you want, the quicker you fall. So because my trajectory has been very stable, and I tell my team this, I've had everyone's job in my position. So now that I'm the CEO of the company, I know how to do everybody's job that is under me, and I have the patience with them to be great. So again, I had to follow God's timing, and it wasn't easy, but I never gave up. Even being an intern at 25 years old, I was like, all right, Lord, this is what you think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it.
Oh man, you hit the nail on the head right there. I know somebody right now is saying, "Oh, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that." And I even think about, even with the podcast perspective. Earlier episodes, I was like, "Oh, I had this person, that person. I should have flown to this person. I should have." You're right. it comes down to timing, recognizing, and following. You know what God got for you, because it's gonna be right.
Oh
It's gonna
no.
be.
And I have a show that's called BT Presents the Encore
Oh, we gonna
that
talk about that.
I pitched 7 years ago.
Seven
And
what?
I pitched that show 7 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, and it's huge.
It's huge now, but guess what? It would not have been huge 7 years ago. Because I look at where that show is right now, and I'm like, this show deserved to be out in this moment, in this climate, in this iteration. I didn't have Nivea on that show 7 years ago.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? I look at the cast too, and I was like, all of this made sense for it to happen now. And I look at the fact that, the group had the number one album on iTunes,
yep.
and Nivea is a breakout star who has this resurgence of a solo career. So that show had to happen right now. But I waited 7 years for it to happen because I knew I had something special.
Oh man, that's crazy. See, that's the thing right there, guys. You gotta wait. If you know you got something special, you gotta wait. Be patient. Timing is so key. Carlos, you're crushing this interview, man, and I appreciate having you on right now. This is absolutely insane because I know so many people. They see the glitz, they see the highlight reels, but they don't know the stories like this. They don't know the stories like this. They see the instant success. They don't know about the internship, the working at the Gap, catching a Metro car to go to Brooklyn. I can only imagine how long that took. You know what I'm saying? Did you have any late days?
Okay, the metro system in New York don't always run on time, so you'll be waiting
Uh-uh.
in the cold, and it's New York, so blizzards. And again, we didn't have AirPods and iPods, so you used to go that train like
Unpredictable. Unpredictable. Look,
nothing but your faults.
I want to ask you this question because it just came to me because I know so many people, right? Like they get into certain spaces and we struggle to come up with some ideas. Like we just struggle to come up with the ideas. We just, we can't think about it anymore. For a creator like you, though, like how do you get into like that Zen mode of creativity to come up with your ideas? Like, are you in a certain setting? Are you getting up in the morning? Like, what is Carlos' routine? How are you doing this, man?
You know what's so interesting? I truly, I truly allow myself to be present. And what I mean by that is I don't force myself to think of anything because that never works for me. To tell myself, all right, Los, at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, you're gonna lock yourself in the office and you're gonna spend 1 hour thinking. It doesn't work that way for me.
Mm.
So it has to come to me. So this is a true story. Things come to me in dreams. Things come to me in conversations. Things come to me as I'm working out, driving to the office, watching television, reading an article. Things just pop in my head. And that's why I was reading a quote somebody posted on Instagram that said, creative people need quiet time. And what I took by that is not forced
Mm.
quiet time, is when you allow yourself to just be present and listen to the voices that comes to you. So, you know, a lot of the ideas that you see on my website, of the shows I have, or things that I pitch, 99% of them just come through courtesy of quiet time and a conversation.
Oh man, but also too, you recognized it. You recognize. Hold on, I
Oh
got
yeah,
something.
and I send myself emails to
Okay,
remind myself. I'll show
okay.
myself people like, yo, this documentary. Like I did that to myself on Saturday. I was like, wait, this is
Oh, I like this. I like this. Now we talking spicy. So like, so you'll watch something, you'll read something. Is it like, all right, let me grab the phone, let me grab the computer, and
oh
you're
yeah,
emailing yourself?
yeah. I don't like try to remember it because my mind
Yep.
unfortunately doesn't work that way. I'll forget in a second. So I'll shoot myself an email to remind myself, and then I'll speak to my team about it. And that
Mm.
literally happened this past Saturday. And then I spoke to my team member yesterday. And I said, I got this idea. What do you think? And she was like, oh my gosh, that's dope. I said, okay, write it up. We're going to pitch it. Yeah.
Oh man, I like where this is going, man. I can talk to you all day. I like where this is going. This is dope. For the second time, I want to ask you this question because we've asked everybody this question. Every superstar that's been on this show, Grammy Award winner, everybody, and that is if you were the person right now, that say you graduated college, you got that degree, it's shiny, or perhaps you dropped out of school, you couldn't figure it out, and you're asking yourself the question of the podcast: school's over, now what? What advice would Carlos King give?
So look, I don't think a lot of people know this, but I dropped out of college my junior year because so remember that internship I had at 25 years old?
Yep.
And I thought to myself, damn, Lowe's, you kind of old to be an intern, but we gonna take it anyway. So I did that for maybe 6 months or 6 to 8 months. And then I was hired after the 8 months to be a production assistant. So I had a job.
Wow.
I had a job. So mind you, I was still in school because when I graduated high school, I took a gap year. Then I attended college in Detroit, my hometown, and I left Detroit my junior year in college to go to New York. And y'all may know this. So when you transfer colleges, all of your credits all of them don't get transferred.
Nope.
So I was set back as a sophomore because all my credits did not transfer. So I'm in New York City, 22 years old, a sophomore in college, and I was like, it's okay. And I had to wait another year because when you are not a local in the state in which you're going to college, your tuition fee is like double.
Yep.
So I waited a year. Okay. So at this point, I'm 23. So I waited a year just to be a sophomore again. Right. So by 25, I was a junior. And I said, I got one more year left until I graduate. But I got this job at BET. And I remember being in geology class in college. And I had to leave work to go to my night classes. And I looked around the class and I was like, everybody in this auditorium would love to have the job that I had. They're working hard to graduate to get the job that I have. And I'm wasting my time being here. I already beat y'all. I'm already 2 steps ahead of y'all. I walked out in the middle of the professor speaking, turned my back, and never looked back. So, and I'm where I'm at now. So I have to be honest. So school's over, now what? So for me, listen, I'm not somebody who thinks you must get a college degree. Of course, it depends on your profession. You can't be a doctor out here without a medical degree, right?
Facts.
So we ain't doing that. So depending on your profession, my only advice would be to follow your dreams and to not feel like a certificate is the keys to success.
Oh my goodness. Listen, Carlos, you're absolutely crushing, right, man. That certificate don't mean nothing. Follow your dreams. Don't look back. Carlos ain't look back. Don't look back. You got to recognize that sign when you get it. Carlos, for people that are watching this right now or listening to this right now in their car, they want to keep up with you. They want to know what's next. What's the next shows? How can we stay in contact to what you got going on?
Yeah, so I'm on social media. My Instagram and Twitter handle is @thecarlosking_. So you can follow me there. And what I do is I constantly update my followers and what I'm doing, for my shows that's coming out. I'll give you a little slice of life into like what I'm doing. A little bit of it. I can't give you everything. And then, but we have a lot of things down the pipeline that I'm really thrilled about. So all of the updates, I will say, I make sure to upload on my social media, and that way you're able to keep in touch with me and you know, holla at your boy.
Make sure you do that. Listen, Carlos, I appreciate you. You absolutely crushed it, guys. Make sure to check in with him. All his information is at the bottom of the show notes. And for those of you that have been listening, always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it. Hey, what's up, fam? Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. We'll see you next week here at Schools Over Now What. And always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.